On the 22nd of May 2017, a suicide bombing was carried out at Manchester Arena in Manchester, England, following a concert by American singer Ariana Grande. The attacker was identified as Salman Ramadan Abedi, a 22-year-old British Muslim who detonated a shrapnel-laden improvised explosive device at the exit of the arena after the event. 23 adults and children, including Abedi, were killed and 116 were injured, some critically. Abedi was suspected of working within a terrorist network, and various people were arrested in connection with the incident. Attacked at On the 22nd of May 2017, at around 22:30 BST, UTC+100, a suicide bomber detonated an improvised explosive device, packed with nuts and bolts to act as shrapnel, in the foyer area of the Manchester Arena. The attack took place after an Ariana Grande concert that was part of her 2017 Dangerous Woman tour. The concert was sold out, and up to 21,000 people attended. Many exiting concert-goers and waiting parents were in the foyer at the time of the explosion. Greater Manchester Police declared the incident a terrorist attack and suicide bombing. It was the deadliest attack in the United Kingdom since the 7th of July 2005 London bombings. Aftermath edit About 3 hours after the bombing, police conducted a controlled explosion on a suspicious item of clothing in Cathedral Gardens. This was later confirmed to have been abandoned clothing and not dangerous. Residents and taxi companies in Manchester offered free transport or accommodation via Twitter to those left stranded at the concert. Parents of children attending the concert were separated in the aftermath of the explosion. A nearby hotel served as a shelter for children displaced by the bombing, with officials directing their parents there. Manchester's Sikh temples, gurdwaras, along with local homeowners, hotels and venues offered shelter to victims of the attack. Manchester Victoria Railway Station, which is partly underneath the arena, was evacuated and closed, and services were cancelled. The explosion caused structural damage to the station, which remained closed until the damage had been assessed and repaired, resulting in significant disruption to train and tram services. The station reopened to traffic on the 30th of May 2017, following the completion of police investigation work and repairs to the fabric of the building. After a COBRA meeting with Greater Manchester's Chief Constable, Ian Hopkins, on the 23rd of May, Prime Minister Theresa May announced that the UK's terror threat level was raised to critical, its highest level. The threat level remained critical until the 27th of May, when it was reduced to its previous level of severe. In the aftermath of the attack, Operation Temporer was activated for the first time, allowing up to 5,000 soldiers to reinforce armed police in protecting parts of the country. Tours of the Houses of Parliament and the changing of the guard ceremony at Buckingham Palace were cancelled on the 24th of May, and troops were deployed to guard government buildings in London. On the 23rd of May, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, via the Nasher Telegram channel, claimed the attack was carried out by a soldier of the Khilafah. The message called the attack an endeavor to terrorize the mushrikin and in response to their transgressions against the lands of the Muslims. Abedi's sister speculated that he was motivated by revenge for Muslim children killed by American airstrikes in Syria. Casualty asset The blast killed the attacker, and 22 concert-goers and parents who were in the entrance waiting to pick up their children following the show. 116 people were injured. As of the 26th of May 2017, 75 people remained in hospital, 23 of them, including 5 children, in critical care. The dead included 10 people under 20, the youngest an 8-year-old girl. Northwest Ambulance Service reported that 60 of its ambulances attended the scene, carried 59 people to local hospitals, and treated a number of walking wounded on site. Of those hospitalized, 12 were children under the age of 16. Attacker at The bomber, Salman Ramadan Abedi, Arabic, was a 22-year-old British Muslim of Libyan ancestry. He was born in Manchester on the 31st of December 1994 to a family of Libyan-born refugees who had settled in South Manchester after fleeing to the UK to escape the government of Muammar Gaddafi. He grew up in the Whalley Range area and lived in Fallowfield. According to The Times, Abedi had been among a group of students who had accused a teacher of Islamophobia for criticizing suicide bombing. Neighbors described the Abedi family as very traditional and super religious. Abedi, his elder brother, and, prior to 2011, his father attended Didsbury Mosque. An imam at the mosque recalled that Abedi looked at him with hate after he preached against ISIS and Ansar al-Sharia in 2015. Abedi's parents, both born in Tripoli, returned to Libya in 2011 following the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi, while Abedi stayed in the United Kingdom. Abedi attended Burnage Academy for Boys in Manchester between 2009 and 2011, before going to the Manchester College until 2013 and then in 2014 enrolled at the University of Salford, Oxford, where he studied business management. Abedi later dropped out to work in a bakery. Manchester police believe Abedi used student loans to finance the plot, including travel overseas to learn bomb making. The Guardian reported he may have received loan funding as recently as April. He was known to British security services but was not regarded as a high risk. A community worker told the BBC he had called a hotline 5 years before the bombing to warn police about Abedi's views, and members of Britain's Libyan diaspora said they had warned authorities for years about Manchester's Islamist radicalization. Abedi was allegedly reported to authorities about his extremism by as many as 5 people, including community leaders and possibly family members, though according to the Chief Constable of Greater Manchester, Abedi was not known to the Prevent Anti-Radicalization program. On the 29th of May, MI5 launched an internal inquiry into its handling of the warnings it had received about Abedi in a second, more in-depth inquiry into how it missed the danger. Investigation edit =. The property in Fallowfield where Abedi lived was raided on the 23rd of May. Armed police breached the house with a controlled explosion and searched it. Abedi's 23-year-old brother was arrested in Corlton-cum-Hardy in South Manchester in relation to the attack. Police carried out raids in 2 other areas of South Manchester and another address in the Whalley Range area. 3 other men were arrested, and police spoke of a likely network supporting the bomber. According to German intelligence, Abedi had returned to the UK from Turkey 4 days prior to the attack. According to German police sources, Abedi transited through Dusseldorf Airport on his way home to Manchester from Istanbul 4 days before the bombing. Abedi's younger brother and father were arrested by Libyan security forces on 23 and the 24th of May respectively. The brother was suspected of planning an attack in Libya, and was said to be in regular touch with Salman, and aware of the plan to bomb the Manchester Arena, but not the date. According to a Libyan official, the brothers spoke on the phone about 15 minutes before the attack was carried out. Photographs of the remains of the IED published by the New York Times indicated that it had comprised an explosive charge inside a lightweight metal container which was carried within a black vest or a blue Caramore backpack. Most of the fatalities occurred in a ring around the bomber. His torso was propelled by the blast through the doors to the arena, possibly indicating that the explosive charge was held in the backpack and blew him forward on detonation. A small device thought to have possibly been a handheld detonator was also found. U.S. Congressman Michael McCall, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, indicated that the bomb contained the explosive TATP, which has been used in previous bombings. According to Manchester police, the explosive device used by Abedi was the design of a skilled bomb maker and had a backup means of detonation. Police also said that Salman Abedi bought most of Manchester bomb components himself and that he was alone during much of the time before the carrying out the Manchester bombing. According to U.S. intelligence sources, Abedi was identified by the bank card that he had with him and the identification confirmed using facial recognition technology. As of the 30th of May 2017, 16 people had been arrested, of whom 14 remain in police custody. News leaks edit =. Within hours of the attack, Abedi's name and other information given confidentially to security services in the United States and France were leaked to the news media, leading to condemnation from Home Secretary Amber Rudd. Following the publication of crime scene photographs of the backpack bomb used in the attack in the 24th of May edition of the New York Times, UK counter-terror police chiefs said that the release of the material was detrimental to the investigation. On the 25th of May, Greater Manchester Police said that it had stopped sharing information on the attack with the U.S. intelligence services. Prime Minister Theresa May said she would make clear to President Trump that intelligence that has been shared must be made secure. Trump described the leaks to the news media as deeply troubling, and pledged to carry out a full investigation. British officials blamed the leaks on the breakdown of normal discipline at the White House and in the U.S. security services. New York Times editor Dean Baquet declined to apologize for publishing the backpack bomb photographs, saying we live in different press worlds and that the material was not classified at the highest level. On the 26th of May, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson stated that the United States government accepted full responsibility for the leaks. Reactions did United Kingdom edit Prime Minister Theresa May and leader of the opposition Jeremy Corbyn both condemned the bombing, while the Queen expressed her sympathy to the families of the victims. Campaigning for the general election was suspended by all political parties for 2 days after the attack. The mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, announced a vigil in Albert Square the following evening, which thousands attended. The Muslim Council of Britain also condemned the attack. On the 25th of May 2017, a national minute silence was observed to remember the victims. International International edit ===. Condolences were expressed by the leaders and governments of dozens of countries, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, Commonwealth Secretary-General Patricia Scotland, President of the European Commission Jean-Claude Juncker, Pope Francis, and Secretary-General of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation Youssef Al-Uthaymeen. Ariana Grande posted on her official Twitter account, "Broken, from the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry, I don't have words." Sick Grande subsequently suspended her tour and flew to her mother's home in Florida. She later announced that she would host a benefit concert in Manchester for the victims of the attack. The concert, entitled One Love Manchester, will take place on the 4th of June at Old Trafford Cricket Ground and will be televised live in the UK on BBC One. At the concert, Grande will perform along with several other artists. See also edit ==. List of terrorist incidents in Great Britain. List of terrorist incidents in May 2017. References ==. External links edit ==. Manchester attack, who were the victims? BBC News.